So last night, Disney held their Disney Investors Day presentation. And those of you that are long term viewers will probably know quite well my feelings on Disney. And if you are new, then at the end of this video, there will be links to the playlist for all the Disney videos that I've made, just to give you a good feel for exactly why I think Disney's a great investment. Now, you may remember that obviously I held Disney for a while, and then a few months back I actually stepped away from it because of the fact that I felt like there was a lot of delay with the market and I wasn't quite sure it was going to grow to the same level that I was really expecting at the speed that I was expecting. And that hasn't necessarily changed. I still don't think that this stock is necessarily going to grow at the same level and at the same rate that other stocks that I invest in are going to grow at. However, I do believe that this is going to be a strong, steady growth that is almost a little bit more, should we say, safer. In the respect of, obviously, a lot of the other companies, what I'm kind of hoping for and expecting is smaller companies to grow massively. Whereas obviously with Disney, it's almost more a, this is definitely going to grow, and it's definitely going to get bigger. It's just a case of the speed that it grows and the amount that it grows over that given time period. So let's just have a quick go through the Investor Day and exactly what came out that is important to us. Now, I'm not going to go over the individual shows and all of that that's coming out. There's plenty of videos on YouTube if you want to find out all of that. There is so much content that they released and they spoke about last night. A lot of it completely new that people were not expecting at all. And you've obviously got various fans of the different areas, the Star Wars and the Marvel ones. For example, the fan base seemed to be really, really excited by the content that's coming out there, which is obviously really great. To be honest, I don't necessarily, as an investor in the way that I'm looking at the company, I'm not necessarily fussed about the individual shows. I'm more kind of concerned about the direction that the company's going, the direction of the content and the way that that's kind of taking the company forward and where it's indicating that the customers and the company are going to be in a few years' time. Now, the Investor Day was pretty much purely, or I think it was really just about Disney Plus and the direct-to-consumer element. And the way that they've restructured the company and they've taken that content creation element and they've moved it sort of sideways and kind of pushed it more towards the direct-to-consumer part of the business, I think was overdue, and something that I was talking about previously in my other videos, and a very important step for them to have made, which is great. And they've also spoke about Star and the fact that they are pushing forward now with that. That's going to be released into Europe, Canada, etc. At the end of February next year, which is awesome. And I think that when that happens, Netflix is going to be toppled off of the top spot, because at the moment, obviously, Netflix has the most subscribers by a good margin, but soon that is not going to be the case. Disney Plus is going to take over Netflix. It's simply a case of how long that takes, and with the content of Star being added to Disney Plus. And just for those of you that haven't watched the presentation of it, they are adding an extra fee For Europe, it's going to be an extra €2, and it will be an equivalent for the rest of us. So probably in the UK, we're talking about an extra £2 as well. And that will be the Disney Plus as a whole price is going to increase, and it will include Star programs. And what we're talking about here is effectively all of the, well, I say all. This was one thing that maybe they weren't necessarily overly clear on, and something that the one negative is obviously a lot of the great content that is being made in the US has been licensed out around the globe. So there's probably some of the content might not be coming to Star that really you would hope for, and that content may still be played on other platforms. So, for example, Handmaid's Tale, I'm not sure if that's going to be going on to Star, or whether that's still going to end up with other competition platforms. That wasn't really necessarily clear exactly where the distinction is, but there was still a lot of great looking content that will be featured on Star. So with the fact of all of these new films, all of these new series being added to Disney Plus app, I think it's going to be very, very hard for customers to look at the Disney Plus package now and say, nah, Netflix is better, because there's going to be so much more adult content, which was what was really, really missing from Disney Plus. So yeah, going forward, I can absolutely see that. The next thing that they spoke about that really got me excited is the fact that the way that they released Mulan and the way that they played it direct onto the platform, and they skipped the cinemas. That was something that I was very excited about, not necessarily because they left the cinema, but because of the fact that they gave customers the chance to not go to the cinema. And it looks like they're then going to take this a step further with one of their next Disney films, which is the cartoon about the young girl. I can't remember the name of it, but with that film, that they're going to be releasing it in the cinema and on Disney Plus for the paid subscription, like for the extra paid premium at the same time. So this means that customers that want to go to the cinema can still go to the cinema, and customers that don't want to go to the cinema can just give Disney the money directly, which will end up being more profitable for Disney. So I think this is an amazing step forward for the company. I think going forward, it's definitely going to help the company. And I think it's also going to really help them to leverage the best possible price with cinemas, because of the fact that they can literally kind of go to the cinema and go, well, yep, you can play this if you want, but if you don't want to give us the money, we'll just stick it straight on Disney Plus, and customers will be able to see it anyway. So we're definitely going to see a good growth to the bottom line for Disney on this. Which, like I say, I think is a real amazing step forward for the company. Another thing that they mentioned was the fact that they've made a lot of partnerships. So in the US, they've been partnering with a company to help distribute Disney Plus, like a year's free use of Disney Plus when you sign up to whatever service. And they are extending that now globally a lot more as well. So they mentioned obviously various different companies around the world, but the one that obviously I'll recognise, UK, is O2, and they're doing a partnership with O2 as well. Again, the details weren't really announced, they weren't really clear, but obviously very promising in the fact that it's going to bring new subscribers onto Disney Plus, and obviously the first year's membership to an extent doesn't necessarily matter too much, because of the fact that once you get a customer into the sphere, we're looking at very strong kind of customer retention for the Disney brand. So once they're in there and they've seen the amount of content that's available, it's definitely going to help push people forward. In the same way that the global pandemic has helped to push people forward in this regard and realise the benefits of technology. I think that Disney, like, this is the same kind of thing that Disney are doing now, where they're pushing forward so that customers are kind of getting it for free so that they can see the benefits of it. And what I think is going to then happen is people are going to be cancelling their TV packages and just going completely to on-demand TV. So going forward, I think this is a great step in that regard. The other thing that I've really kind of noticed with the Investor Day and the various different films and TV series that they're bringing forward is they are definitely pushing further forward with the leading female roles within the Marvel genre. And the reason that that's so important is because our modern younger girls are definitely feeling we are empowering our younger generation, and young girls are feeling a lot less of the traditional princessy and far more like an equal. So the traditional kind of princess roles that Disney has are becoming very, very outdated. And it would be very hard for Disney to continue to produce the original kinds of content that they used to make, you know, like the whole Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. They're great stories in their own right, but I think people are finding it harder and harder to associate with the historic kind of girl that needs to be rescued. Now, there will still be like that kind of need as such, and the stories that Disney has for that are going to be perfectly suited there. But having stories, far more stories about strong, independent girls is going to help new, younger girls to associate with those, and will help to keep those new girls within the Disney brand. And where you have now, obviously, the two, the Marvel universe that's bringing girls and boys together, it's then going to mean that moving forward into the future, in say 5 or 10 years' time, we're going to have a lot more younger adults and even older adults, really, that are in love with the Marvel universe in the same way that you get people that are in love with the Disney kind of universe as a whole anyway. And that's going to really help to push the wider Disney angle. It's going to bring more people to the park. It's going to bring a lot more people to the Disney package overall. And all of the merchandise, all the extra kind of bits that go with it. And something that I talk about a lot that I say is really, really important for any business that I invest in. I spoke about it in the video yesterday as well. Obviously the direct-to-consumer, which Disney is definitely really focusing on. And then it was in my Square video that I spoke about this. And then the other real big element that's really, really important is kind of maximising everything from your customer, is getting every penny out of the customer that you can. And I don't really mean that in a corporate way. I mean that in you're providing the customer with everything that they want. And that's really what Disney's able to do, because of the fact that it's using like the Marvel brand is a great example about how they've got the original kind of films. They then get to build on it by creating new characters that people are able to identify with. with that these customers are then able to kind of get involved in the universe and see all the other content, all the other characters. They're able to go to the parks and have the experiences. They're able to buy the merchandise, you know, all the t-shirts and the Christmas presents and the Lego, all the various different elements that all slot together that continue, like each customer then continues to bring in a constant stream of revenue through all of the different elements. And that's what makes the Disney brand so strong, and it's what makes the Disney brand continue to grow so intensely moving forward. And I think the fact that it's managing to bring girls far more into the Marvel and the Star Wars kind of genre is going to help build those genres so much, because it stops it being like a geeky boy thing to more of a family thing where everyone's interested in it. And it stops people being kind of almost embarrassed to like these things. Like previously, Star Wars and Marvel have been very geeky, and obviously you get some people that are loud and proud and have always been happy to kind of wear their merchandise, and then you'll have other people who like it but wouldn't really want to admit to it publicly because of the fact that they'd be kind of tarred with this geek brush as such. And I think Disney's really managing to pull these brands away from that, which is making them worth so much more. And I think Bob Iger he's done wonders for Disney with the way that he's managed to push the company forward in this way. So, yet another video on Disney where I've rambled on a lot because there's just so much to say about it. It's an amazing company. So, definitely long on Disney. I'm expecting it to hit a price of around 200. It's currently about 150 at the time of recording this. And I think we're definitely going to hit somewhere in the 200 region early next year. I would say possibly sooner, but I guess we've not really got that much longer left of this month now and this year. So that's it. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. I don't know for certain that this stock will definitely go up to that level. This is just what I think. So if you're going to invest in this company, you need to do your own research and you need to check what other people are saying as well. Make your own decisions, get your own financial advice, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.